At the Sports History Network, we're proud to introduce you to a new sponsor for our podcasts. It's Home Field Apparel, your premium collegiate apparel brand right out of Indianapolis. They've got incredibly comfortable t-shirts, plus they're officially licensed with vintage college designs. They have over 150 plus colleges available now and always adding more. Homefield digs through the archives and history of your school to find unique logos, mascots, and moments to make thoughtful designs for your school. When you shop today, new customers can get a 15% discount off their first purchase using the promo code SPORTSHISTORY at checkout. You can learn more at homefieldapparel.com.
One team in the early NFL that still stirs the emotion is now the defunct Canton Bulldogs organization. As we learned in part 4 of the series, the team rode a roller coaster ride of success and failure. An 8th place finish in the APFA in Season 1, a league they helped put together that did not sit well with ownership. Some changes would have to occur to bring the Bulldogs back to prominence. We have this story and more coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to positive football history. And as we have been doing for the last couple months here, we've been covering the Canton Bulldogs franchise. And we are all the way up. This is part 5 of the series. If you haven't listened to part 1 through 4, make sure you go back and do, because it's really a great series on a great team that's no longer with us, but had some tremendous years in professional football. Before we start talking about the Canton Bulldogs, just want to let you know that you can know when every time we have a podcast drop, an article drop on either Pigskin Dispatch, JerseyDispatch.com, or Orville Mulligan Sports Writer, our audio drama that takes place in the 1920s sports arena. You can know all of those by joining our email newsletter. It comes out daily, 6:30 a.m. Go to the show notes of this podcast or on PigskinDispatch.com and become an email subscriber to a newsletter. Now, when we left off last time, Canton was disappointed after a 7-4-2 8th place finish in the new American Professional Football Association, the APFA. Owner of the team, Ralph Hay, along with team leaders, knew they would have to make some changes to become more competitive in the league. The first move was made by former Bulldog stars Jim Thorpe and Joe Guyon as they moved on to play with the Oorang Indians squad in 1921. Cap Edwards, veteran, he took over as the coach on the field, and new faces, including 13 rookies, were added to the Canton roster. Veterans like Swede Youngstrom joined the club from Buffalo to help fortify the line, along with returning starters of Cap Edwards, Pete Fats Henry, Al Feeney, and Ed Sauer. And they did improve in 1921 to a 4th place finish in the APFA, but it was far from the expectations of the Canton faithful. Ralph Hay carefully looked at his team's drop-off from the season of 1919 to the APFA years, and there was only one missing element from 1919 that was in the leadership and the play of one guy, Chamberlain. Chamberlain had played on the APFA 1921 champion Decatur Staley's team with George Hallis, and Hallis described Guy as, quote, the best two-way end I've ever seen. He was a tremendous tackler on defense and a triple threat performer on offense, end quote. Now, Chamberlain was one of those keys to the Staley's success in 1921. On December 3rd, 1921, in the city of Chicago, the Staleys defeated the first-place Buffalo All-Americans in what was realistically the APFA championship game, because the winner would inevitably take the title. In the victory over Buffalo, Chamberlain intercepted a pass and returned it 90 yards for the game-winning touchdown. The thing was with the Staleys, who would soon become the Chicago Bears, was that Hallis was the leader of the club, and there was no room for Chamberlain to have input into the coaching and strategy of the franchise. It was one of those things, 2 dogs, 1 bone. Well, Hay recognized this, and after a couple conversations and the promise of being in control of the Bulldogs and its roster, Guy Chamberlain was again in the Canton fold. His presence and leadership made an immediate impact as he strengthened the team in the offseason by signing guard Tarzan Taylor, with whom he had played with on the Staleys, and tackle Link Lyman, a future Hall of Famer, an All-American who played at Chamberlain's alma mater, Nebraska. The Bulldogs started the season strong with a 38-0 blowout of the Louisville Brecks in 1922. Then they faced what many consider their toughest test of the season when the Dayton Triangles hosted the Canton Bulldogs at Triangles Park in Dayton, and the two squads finished in a scoreless draw. Next was a 14-0 shutout versus Jim Thorpe's Oorang Club, followed by a 22-0 drubbing of the league's first champions, the Akron Pros. Two strong opponents were on the schedule after that: the defending champion Chicago Bears, formerly Decatur, and the upstart Toledo Maroons. Canton held both of these potent teams scoreless in a 7-0 win over Chicago, and then a scoreless tie versus Toledo. These were significant, in particular the win over the Bears, but the gauntlet of quality opponents was far from over during this season. The next three games were also against strong opponents, as the Buffalo All-Americans tested the Bulldogs as a second quarter field goal lifted Canton to a 3-0 victory, and then two games against the Chicago Cardinals and a home-and-home series were at hand. The Dogs took both games 7-0 in the first meeting in Chicago, and then a 20-3 victory in front of the home fans in Canton. The latter game had all of the Bulldogs' points scored in the fourth quarter as the Redbirds held a slim 3-0 lead for most of the game. The Canton 11 finished off the season with three additional wins: one over Akron, one over the Milwaukee Badgers, and again over Toledo, a team they tied earlier. Chamberlain had led the 1922 Bulldogs to an NFL championship title with the best record in the NFL and an undefeated 10-0-2 record. The team shut out 9 of 12 opponents and allowed only 15 points in 12 games. The move by Hay to bring back Chamberlain into the fold was a wise one, as the Canton Bulldogs were back on top of professional football. Now, that is a place where we like to stop here, and we're going to come back and join up what happens to Canton in the 1923 season and beyond as we go into part 6 and beyond there too. Glad you could join us today. Hope you enjoyed this football history on some early pro football teams. And, that's 100 years ago. We're recording this in 2022. 1922 was that championship for the great Canton Bulldogs as they climb back out of what was sort of the doldrums of the league, the new league that they helped develop, and win that championship with Guy Chamberlain. What a difference he made. I hope you joined us today, and hope you'll join us each and every day for some more great sports history here on PigskinDispatch.com. And till tomorrow, everybody, have a great Gridiron Day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, PigskinDispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. PigskinDispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Jean Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so it
retro
was that
sports
Marla Delft
advertisement
discovered the
placards.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, Sports Writer. Coming soon.